All right, thanks for staying with us on Good Morning Nigeria. And up next for us here is Newspaper Review.
All right, we got a newspaper reviewer, Chukwudi Okoli with us this morning. Chukwudi, good morning to you.
Good morning, Nyeri. How are you doing?
Very well.
Victor, how are you too?
I'm all right. Good morning. And
you look all right. Maybe you'll become Papa JB of Good Morning Nigeria. Happy Lord, on time, back. When I'm in this mood, you stop me early enough.
Yeah, in the mood.
So we don't derail us, okay?
All right, let's take a look at the headlines on the front pages of the papers that we have this morning. Very busy day, I must tell you, looking at the front pages of the papers. So many stories that would interest you, of course. And the lead story on the front page of the Leadership Friday this morning is carrying this caption, Game of Thrones. Fielding parties claim victory in Kano court ruling. The riders amended Emirate law valid. Bayero wrongly removed, says court. State government orders demolition of mini palace. Insists Sanusi remains emir of Kano. Wow. Page 7 has all the details. Away from that, we have 2 weeks after Niger miners still trapped. Not a good one. Army takes delivery of 2 helicopters. That is good news. Page 21 has that. And court nullifies 33 Ondo LCDAs. Away from that, we have a picture of the ASU president here. And the news is not nice. ASU threatens strike. Others give ultimatum. Again, page 7 has that update. Beside the masthead, we have new HIV prevention injection, safe, effective, according to study. And above the masthead, we have NNPC, Total Energies commit $550 million to boost domestic gas market. And then we have this one here, don't leave Rivers local government secretariats, IGP orders police. All right, you want to see what's happening? A copy of the leadership would guide you. Looking at the Nigerian pilot now, we have this story in red. Stop eating imported frozen chicken. It's a screaming headline. The riders experts warn Nigerians against consumption of imported genetically modified frozen chicken. Draw attention to featherless chickens being prepared for markets in Nigeria, other tropical countries. Ask businessmen to desist from importing frozen chickens. One commentator describes the featherless chicken production as diametrically insane. By the way, I've seen that video. Have you, Victor?
No, I haven't.
All right. I think
featherless.
Featherless chicken, yeah.
Well, chickens go featherless anyway.
Well, this one is a genetic breed. It's it's this modification.
Its wings is going to be a genetically modified breed because chickens are known to have wings. They are not like the emu or the kiwi. Those ones don't have wings, I think. I hope I remember my,
biology.
Yeah, well, biology you could say, but I can't remember the word for. There's on the tunnel. I can't remember. Please, let's not confuse us.
Anyways, but even watching that video alone, the scientist who was involved in that breeding actually said the chicken was being prepared for the African market, and you wonder why.
Why African market?
I don't know.
We like it wingless.
Is it wingless or featherless?
Featherless.
Oh, featherless.
Yes.
What is it going to look like?
It becomes bare. So you just see the meat.
But nature had a reason for putting feathers on the chicken.
Well, these ones are prepared for eating.
African market.
All right, let's look away from that quickly. Just taking a few more stories on the front page of the Nigerian pilot. We have Korea High Court scraps all 33. All right, that's already been taken. Abia government partners EU on critical priority areas. And this one here says FRSC produces 73,740 driver's licenses in 2 weeks to meet demands. All right, that's the much we can take from the Nigerian pilots. Victor.
Right, and that takes us to the Daily Sun, which leads with the headline, Fresh Twist in Kanu Emirship Crisis as court sacks Sanusi. It has 2 riders, accuses state government of ignoring earlier order. Police direct hunters, vigilance groups to steer clear of security duties in state. And then, just beside or to the right of the masthead, Nigeria's debt rises to 121.67 trillion naira, adds 24.33 trillion naira in 3 months. That's on page 25 of the Daily Sun. And then at the bottom of at the foot of the front page here, cholera. FG dispatches experts to Lagos, Enugu, Sokoto. Outbreak escalates in Lagos, claims 21 lives. Cases rise to 401. That story can be found on page 6. And to the right of the front page, the right column, Kaduna protesters want ex-governor El-Rufai arrested, prosecuted. That's on page 4. Tinubu, Ramaphosa push for stronger ties between Nigeria, South Africa in Johannesburg. Page 26. How FG marginalizes Ndibo, that's according to Iwanyawu, says Clark authorized to speak for Southern leaders. That story is on page 8. World Bank sets conditions for Nigeria's $1.5 billion loan. Well, details, you get them on page 2. Rivers Assembly crisis. Appeal Court reserves judgment is on page 4. And finally, why we oppose police recruitment by PSC, IGP. That's according to the IGP, and you find the story on page 5. Jukes the boy.
Yeah, the Kano affair, Justice Lehman, I think, says by that judgment, says a subsisting court order should have been obeyed. So it's about disobedience of a court order and going ahead to, to change the ownership, whereas a court had, said, you stay where you are till a proper determination of a suit. So you're going to call in legal experts who are going to be more succinct, clearer than us as journalists who are just taking a little of everything. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's about there was a court order that should have been obeyed. Mm-hmm. So let's leave it at that so we don't make it murky. Now, the National Bureau of Statistics is saying that PMS increased by 223% to 770 naira per litre in May 2024 compared to 238 naira per litre, during the corresponding period last year. That's in 2023. And you want to say that's really astronomical. It's still a telling blow on many of us. But the good news is that Dangote, I think this time they are very much, they're very sure that by July, maybe toward the end of July, they are going to start rolling out PMS. And one would only naturally expect that this would impact on the price of PMS by taking it down a bit. Remember what happened to diesel. Diesel is no longer being sold for 1,600 naira. It's about 1,200 now. I think when people added their little bits, it moved from the 900 and something that Dangote, sells to them for. So there is hope at the end of the day concerning these things. Let's pray that,
let's hope the hope comes to fruition.
Yeah. Yere, you mentioned that HIV, prevention, whatever.
Injection.
Oh, really?
Safe.
Would they call that a vaccine at this stage? They didn't quite call it a vaccine. But if it prevents the human immunodeficiency virus, if one might call it a virus, then that is quite good news, because the problem with HIV has always been the mutational ability. You couldn't trap it easily. It had this, you say a cat, somebody has more lives than a cat. A cat has 9 lives, So the HIV had more lives than a cat. But if scientists are saying that now it could be reasonably tamed, I want to say that this is good news.
That's progress.
But remember that controlling it, or rather keeping it down to the point that it doesn't become a platform for opportunistic infections, because the deficiency is actually a state of the body, which now lays the body open to infection by opportunistic diseases. But what I'm stressing is that even the opportunistic diseases had been tamed, in the sense that you could take drugs that depress, and it doesn't take you to that level where it festers, and before you knew it, there are even sores on your mouth and all that. So it's all still progress for science. It is quite something that we should be happy about.
In terms of deaths, we are making progress, positive progress or negative. The report says Nigeria's debt rises to 121.67 trillion naira.
And it will add 24.33 trillion in 3 months.
Technically, every Nigerian owes about 700,000 naira, including you, Chukwudi. How does that make you feel?
I feel good. It means that I'm recognizing the world financially.
We're heading to 145, 146 trillion in 3 months.
Look, I'm not an economist. I try to restrain myself from discussing. We say that a good journalist knows his limitations. You leave certain things to experts. There's no shame in it. But I want to say that Nigeria really, given its potential, if only we could reduce waste, become more efficient. I talked to somebody in the district where I live. I see him on Okada almost every time. And I had a little farm work for him. And when he's going to do it, he told me that he works somewhere in the office. I said, so what time do you go to the office? Cases like that abound in our country. People are talking about minimum wage. People are not talking about maximum productivity. So going back to what I'm talking about, that money is not really big money. If only the giant of Africa, as we called it in those days, would rise and take its place in the world. The first thing is internal revenue generation. The that should be, second. The most important thing is putting in place those sectors of the economy that can really turn us around, turn situations.
Most important.
I think agriculture is it. Power, yes, power, so many things. But agriculture is going to be what eventually builds this country out more than anything else. Yes.
Well, and not the kind of agriculture we're doing now, mechanized.
Yes.
At a very, serious scale. If you talk mechanized farming, then yes, you say it builds the country. Not when I have a garden at my backyard.
Nyere would say that incentives should be created, whatever she means by that and all that. She is talking correctly. Whatever we need to do to agriculture, let's do it to it. And I am thinking that we might not be totally out of the woods by this time next year in terms of prices of food. Potatoes are just being grown because the rain did not start in time. That pushes, if you're going to leave it for 3 months, you pull it up, pull it out, then plant beans. The beans will be pushed into the tip of September. Whereas people will tell you that beans is better when it comes first week of August or maybe second week. So we may be getting into trouble gradually because of the late commencement of the rains in these parts. Because really the southern parts and all that they have been. But the real production of food happens from up north, So we just pray that things eventually, even out properly for us.
All right. It's time to thank you for your contributions to Good Morning Nigeria this morning.
The way you're looking at my lips, you are waiting for me to keep quiet.
No, I'm actually admiring
Time to go. Bye-bye, everyone.
The discussion continues after this time out. Please stay with us.